Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today I'm sharing with you another card I made using the Altenew stampset called Tulip. I've started by stamping the flowers with my Altenew Crisp Inks. As you can see at the top, I got a few inks. I've had them for a bit more than a year, so some of them are starting to dry out. I did have to repurchase some of them. It was just before they came out as larger pads. But I was doing cards for my mom last year, and I used quite a lot of them. I mean, they are really good inks, but just to let you know that mine are a bit on the dry side. I've not used them very much recently, so I didn't feel the need to buy the reinkers, but I may at some point. That's what's good with the reinkers. I really like the concept of the reinker because you don't have to throw away your pad, you can just reuse it, and just refill it, and I think it's quite cool because it's a bit of a shame to just get rid of it. So here I decided to stamp my flowers with the two different shades of red, I think. I can't remember the exact color, if it was rouge and crimson or rouge and velvet. I'd say crimson based on what I can read. And I've decided to double stamp the lightest layer because it was on the dry side and I thought it looked a bit nicer. So then I decided to go to add some shading, and I didn't add shading the way I normally do. I decided to accentuate the base of the flower and under the head of the flower. I hope it makes sense. I don't know why, I just thought it would be a little bit different, and then I just kept on going with the warm grey 3 and a warm grey 1 as I do as usual all around. But I really wanted to accentuate one part of the flower, and I ran out of ink, so I thought I'd just show you how I refill my markers. It's pretty easy. I mean, I did put a bit too much, that's why I used a little sham on the side to soak up the excess. But when I refill too much, if I drag my pen quick enough on the paper, I don't get stain. It just, the paper soaks it in, but you have to be quite quick. If you feel that you refilled your Copic marker too much, I know it's a bit of a shame, but I suggest that you use a piece of paper to just get the excess ink out, because otherwise you will make stain on your card. I've once created a whole background of Copic ink droplets because I refilled it too much, and I managed to save my card like that. But sometimes you just can't save it, and it's a bit of a shame once you've done work on it. So I'm sorry, I forgot my phone on the side of the mat here. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a new setup, and I zoomed out for this. I have a new setup and a new camera, and I zoomed out for that card, and I didn't realize my phone was in the filming thing, so I put a few words on it, so I apologize for that, but it will come off at some point in the video. So I started creating a background. I'm not quite sure where I was going, to be honest with you. I wanted to create a background with Copics, but I wasn't sure how. And I like this idea of spiral. I showed the card to, I think it was my husband, who said, oh, that could be a vase. It could be kind of a vase, it could be painted on a vase or something like that. It's up to you, see what you want in it. But for me, it was just a good opportunity to practice Copic backgrounds and add a little bit of shimmer afterwards. So I've used the same cool grey markers that I used for the shading on the flowers because I wanted it to be consistent. And then I started to add a bit more depth on the edges of the card. So here you still see me trying to replicate that pattern. It could look like I think it's a ridges, like clay pots. It could look a bit like that, I suppose. And then I just add a bit more depth on the sides just to make it look a bit darker. So here I'm using a Copic Speaker at You, and I'm just adding a black glitter all along the darker color, and I suggest that you go on my blog afterwards if you want to see the close-up photos, because sometimes it's a bit tricky when you are on the camera to show all these details, because you see them at the light, when it reflects, the light reflects on it, and obviously when it's flat at the bottom like that you can't really see it, so you may want to head over to my blog to check out the photos. And then I keep going with different Copic Speaker at You. Sometimes it's tricky to say that. On a different color, and I'm just trying to kind of create that depth and contrast between the different color, and also build up my background as well. And it adds, I really like these glittery pens. I know I've been using them a lot since Christmas, but I do really like them, and I feel that they are a good investment. I'm not quite sure how long they will last because I've used them quite a bit. And I can't actually see how much ink there is in them, and I doubt they do refills for these ones, but I have been really enjoying using them, and I really like that they add so much onto my cards. It kind of feels like a card without these accents, you know, the white accents, the glittery accents. My cards would not be the card they are without it. It's just my personal feel. Anyway, I keep going on and on, so stop babbling. I love these tulips, but one thing I felt it was missing is a third layer. I've used the Peony Bouquet from Altenew, which has 3 layers, and I think it works really great. And I think here I was missing a little bit. So I used one of my gel glittery pen, which was a very similar color to the tulip head, and I've added some, as if there was a third layer stamp. Basically I've just added some accent onto it, and you can see, oh no, sorry, which one did I use? Oh no, actually I may have used a glaze pen. You see, I've done that card a week ago, so I'm kind of forgetting little bits. But I just added a little bit, and that as well you can see on the photo. So then I used my new Crealis stitch border die, and they are the closest thing I can find to my European blank card size. So that's pretty cool for me, because most people will use US sizes, which I can't, because they don't fit on my European card size, but this one does. So here I did a boo-boo, I didn't glue it properly, so just quickly I cut it off the blank cards and I just glue it on another blank card. Basically it makes it slightly heavier, but also I did a little bit of depth, so I'm happy with that, it's okay. And then I decided to add a little gritting. I thought that card looked pretty busy, maybe a bit too busy, so I cut another rectangle out of these stitch dies and just added a little bit of a warm grey border onto it. Try to add a little bit of shading on it as well to create a little bit of depth. And then I will just add my sentiment, not greeting sentiment really, onto my card flat, and I think it kind of breaks the, it's a pretty busy card, so I thought it was quite nice to kind of have something that you know, breaks is probably not the right word, there gotta be another word for that, but you know, the busyness basically. And then I use a black glaze pen to just retrace my grating and had a hint of dimension. So I hope you find this card interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel and head over to my blog for photos. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye!